Let me tell you, this isn't your mother's meatloaf. This is a smoky meatloaf, and I want to thank our friend Micchael Jamieson from Silver Springs, Maryland, for encouraging me to cook this recipe. He sent it in, and we're going to call this segment Cooking with a Little Help from My Friends. Welcome to All Things Food. I'm John Woods, and I love to cook, but I cook to love, and I really love it when you send me some recipes that I can cook right here on the channel and try my hand at some of the things that you're cooking at your home. So we're going to cook this barbecue smoked meatloaf. So let's go ahead and get started. We want to make our sauce because the sauce goes into some of the meat as we do it. In fact, we're going to double this recipe. The sauce is so good that he's given to us. We're going to double it. So I'm going to put in about a half a cup of my favorite barbecue sauce. This is Sweet Christie's, and my good friends John and Christy Bioc up in Minnesota make this. We're going to put in about a half a tablespoon of white vinegar, about a half a teaspoon garlic powder, and then, of course, my favorite onion powder over here, half a teaspoon of it. They're going to say a teaspoon of brown sugar right there. We're going to whisk it all together. Put in a little bit of pepper over here. Pepper that up a little bit. And this is a really good sauce, and I'm going to put the description below so you'll know exactly the way Micchael does it. This is one of the best sauces I've ever had on a meatloaf. Right over here, I have a little skillet heating up. So I'm going to put in about a half a cup here of onions. And then I have about a half of a diced red pepper and half of a yellow pepper there. We're going to throw those in. And then we're going to throw in I should have thrown that in first. It takes that celery a little longer to cook. And we're going to cook that down just a little bit. We're going to add a little salt to it and a tad. And a little bit of garlic over here, chopped garlic. And that's going to go right into our recipe, and then the colors in that meatloaf are going to be just really, really good, and the flavor is really going to come out. So I like this. Now there's another ingredient that's a little different that Micchael uses in his meatloaf, and I thought it was a little strange, but because we typically use this seasoning only around Thanksgiving time, and it's hard to find it in our grocery stores this time of the year. So I found some fresh sage, and we usually use that in our turkey dressing or whatever. So I took some of this yesterday and I chopped it up and I let it dry out overnight. So I'm going to add that fresh sage to this, and that's going to give it a really, really unique flavor. While that's cooking, we're going to move right on with this here. This here is 2 pounds of 80-20 ground beef. It's 80% lean, there's 20% fat in it. 70-30 is too much fat. And then 90-10 is not enough fat, so an 80-20 seems to be the perfect combination here. And then to add that extra rich flavor to this, to really kick it up and elevate the flavor of it, we put in a pound of ground pork right here. So I'm going to mix all those together. I'm going to put some gloves on and mix those together real good, and then we'll go to the next step. We're going to take our meat here, and we're going to just mix it all together by hand. We are outside, so it's a little windy today and a little brisk, actually. We thought it was going to be a nice and warm day, but it turned off. This meat's really, really cold, by the way, and we don't want to over mix it, but this is really cold. The more you mix it, the tougher it gets. So we're going to put a binder in here, and it's none other than a stovetop stuffing. This is chicken. You can get turkey. You can make your own stuffing, whatever. But I'm going to put 1 package of stovetop stuffing in here, and that's going to be my binder. You just dump it right in the middle there. So we're going to take 2 eggs. I'm going to take that and put it in a bowl over here. So I'm going to beat those eggs together there. We'll get 2 eggs. That's about 3 pounds of meat. And then I got about a half a cup of heavy cream I'm going to put in there. And this is very cold cream. You want to keep it cold because you don't want anything warm to break down the fat on that meat. So we're going to mix that together. And that's going to add a lot of moisture, and it's also going to help bind. And I'm going to take a little bit of this sauce over here, and I'm going to pour in there, just a little bit. And that's going to give us some extra flavor in the meatloaf. Pour it in here, right on top of the stuffing. And we're going to try to mix it all together really, really good. So I mixed that up a little bit just to get it started. Now I'm going to add these vegetables back into it. So we've cooled our vegetables down. We're going to put them right in here to the meat, mix it in real good. You don't want to put hot vegetables in there because it'll help break that fat down. We're going to put this in the freezer for maybe 20 minutes, or you can put it in the refrigerator for a couple hours. And we're going to come back and form it into a loaf, stick it in that smoker, and we're going to smoke us some really great meatloaf. Okay, this has been in the freezer for about 20 or 30 minutes. It's firmed up really good, so we're going to go ahead and Michael recommends putting it in one of these little loaf pans here, if I can keep it from blowing away. We're going to spray these. I think we have enough to do. Tell you what, let's do one of those, and if we have enough, we'll do another one in this bigger pan here. So go ahead and fill this up real good. And this one's ready to go into the smoker. And I've got that temperature up there about 250 degrees, and we're going to stick this one on in right now. We're going to let that cook for a while. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here, and I've taken this larger loaf pan, I put some plastic wrap in it, and we're going to cook this one a little different here. So let's go ahead and put our meat down inside there. And I put it in that plastic wrap because it makes it a lot easier to pull it out of the pan to form our loaf. Just flip it into this pan for now. And doesn't that form a beautiful loaf? Michael, I'm sure you're proud of that one right there. Looks very nice. I have to wash that can when I get done. I'm going to take this and put it right on this, right there. And we're going to put it over that. And that's going to help catch the drippings as it cooks. So that's going to go in the grill. All that smoke's going to build up around it. It's going to develop a nice flavor and also a beautiful color. And what you could do if you have any dry rub, you could sprinkle it on there right now and give it that extra little kick. So let's go ahead and put that in the smoker. Okay, I have my internal probe in there. We're about 144 degrees. I wanted 140. And now we're going to glaze use our glaze and glaze the meatloaf. Don't those look nice and pretty? And this is a great glaze. Thank you, Michael, for this glaze. Be real generous with it. And we're going to let that caramelize for until it gets to an internal temperature of 160, probably about another 30, 40 minutes. We pulled that out of the smoker at 160 degrees and we let it cool down for about 15 minutes. There's the loaf, like Michael does it in the little loaf pan. Here's the one that I did. I rolled it and formed a loaf out of it. And we're going to cut into these. They should taste identical. They look a little different because this one was exposed to more direct heat. This one actually looks very beautiful. So let's go ahead and just cut some of that. And you know what I like the most about meatloaf? The leftovers. We'll have this tomorrow on a piece of sourdough bread and mayonnaise. And it's going to be absolutely delicious. Look how nice and tender that is. A beautiful piece of meatloaf, good color in it, and good flavor, I bet. This meatloaf from Michael Jamieson's the best meatloaf I've ever had in my life. This isn't your grandma's meatloaf or your mother's meatloaf. This is fabulous meatloaf. Takes a little tender loving care, and Michael Jamieson, you've done a great job by sending us this recipe, and I hope we get to share it with thousands of people here on All Things Food. Thank you for watching today. If you haven't already liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. And this is part of our segment, Cooking with a Little Help from My Friends. Send me some of your recipes in, and I'll be glad to try them out. So until next time, remember, always love to cook, but cook to love.